Hello, I'm Aaron Pettigrew, one of the Republican candidates for the United States Senate in Tennessee. There are actually almost 21 trillion reasons why I am staying in this race, and that is the national debt. Okay, for it is probably going to cross the $21 trillion mark within the next few weeks, maybe even days. All right. Anyone that knows anything about debt knows that the bill usually comes due. Okay? And at some point, it's going to cost us. All right? Right now, per citizen, let me look at these numbers here so I get you the right ones. Okay? Per citizen, it is $64,000. $64,000. Okay. Per tax-paying citizen, it's almost $222,000. Do you have that kind of money lying around? I don't. Okay. And, maybe some of the other candidates do, but I don't. All right. Eventually, that debt is going to come due. Okay. And when I talk about we have to address the debt before the debt addresses us, well, the ones who are going to be hit the hardest when that time eventually comes are the ones who are dependent on the federal government and the various programs that it pays for. It's just a fact. Okay. Now, a lot of people have talked about this, and some people, consider it scaremonger tactics, whatever. Okay. But as a working man, who's paying his mortgage and, has done things on credit, I understand that a little bit. Okay. And we can look at all sorts of nations around the world. Most recent prime example is Venezuela. Okay, within, 10, 15 years, it went from one of the best economies in South America to people starving, people in the streets hunting for rats or even cats and dogs, to have something to eat for themselves and for their family. Okay, very short while. Now, with us, because of the land mass involved in our republic, as well as the diversity of culture, from the big cities to the small farm towns to the hill towns that may have been there for some reason or another, and now people just live there because it's their home and they're proud of it and enjoy it as it is. Okay, it may take longer, but it can still happen here. That's just the truth of it. Okay, we need political officials that have the courage to say no, that have the courage to say, we need to cut this. We need to eliminate that. Okay? We can't keep it up. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it may take. If we don't start addressing it now, it truly is going to be a problem that either our children or our grandchildren, maybe even our great-grandchildren, are going to have to face. Like I said, the ones who are going to suffer the most are the ones who are dependent on the government. There's nothing you can do about that, because when it goes bankrupt, it's not going to be able to pay out those checks, whatever those checks are for, whether they're earned through Social Security or not through other welfare programs. Doesn't matter. Those people are the ones who are going to hurt. Now, if we start now and start addressing that debt, we can make our society sustainable. And granted, those particular programs are not constitutional, so I'm not a fan of them. However, okay, when dealing with these issues, and it's not just the dependency issue, okay, there's a whole lot more that needs to be addressed. We can do it in ways that don't hurt the people that are already on these programs. Okay, we can make it just harder to get on these programs. We can means test some of these programs for future recipients and slowly work our way out of them in a way that doesn't take anything away from the people who are already dependent on them. Okay, and as the economy grows and people start getting off of these programs and into the workforce, we can make it harder for them to get back on them. Now, most of us in our society don't mind some of our tax dollars going to truly needy people that have nowhere else to turn. Okay, I'm not saying that there aren't those people. Okay, and I'm not saying, leave them to fend for their own devices. I am saying we can do it slowly and steadily in such a way that we continue to take care of the ones who truly need the help, and we can start working it back in such a way that less people are dependent on it. It's not just those programs, okay? There are hundreds of agencies, at least, well over 100 agencies in the federal government. Most of them were originally started as temporary study groups and advisory groups. Now they're running the place. Okay, that's not their job. Okay, and their budgets make congressional pay look like, cheap amateurs. All right, some of those people get paid quite a lot, and some of their departments get a lot of money to make it even harder for us to make a living and do what we need to do. What about foreign aid? Okay, you don't, when you've got a mortgage and even a second mortgage, you don't take out a third one just to give some neighbor down the street that you hardly know a car. Okay, you might give that neighbor a ride back and forth to work, or find a way to help that neighbor get a ride back and forth to work to get on their own, just to be a friendly neighbor. But you don't just hand them money, okay, when you're in debt yourself. It can't work. It's unsustainable. Okay, and on the scale that we're doing it, it's really unsustainable. So, no matter which candidate you choose, keep that in mind if you want your children and grandchildren to have a sound future in this republic. Okay? I don't know when it'll happen, and I don't know how bad it'll get before people actually start doing something about it. All right? But with me in office, I will be fighting to do something about it. Thank you for your time. God bless, and take care.